This brief screencast is presented to you to familiarize you with one of the visual tools that you might use to engage your students in thinking and research. Symbaloo is a web mix, and on the web mix there are tiles. These tiles can either be inserted by design, or you may search for them, or quick start Webmixes. This is the home page for symbalooedu.com. Once you open that up, it will lead you to a page that will allow you to do a number of things. I've already established some of my web mixes across the top here, and when I click right over here, what will happen is that I'll get a listing of all the different web mixes that I am currently using. Click on this plus right over here. The next thing happens is it says, would you like to add a web mix, and how would you like to add that web mix? You can do things like add an empty web mix that we'll look at in a little bit. You can have an RSS feed, or you can use the quick start, which is the next thing that we'll see. If you do choose a quick start web mix, what will happen is that you will come up with a screen that looks just like this. You'll see the categories along here on the left hand side, and that currently there were 4 tiles selected. If I don't want those tiles selected, I just click on them and they go away, and then I click on the ones that I do want from each section. Once I have selected the tiles that I want, then I can take a look and see that I've in fact unchecked all of these. I have 0 that are coming in, but these are the categories. If you choose to use a category: social, fun stuff, sports, news, general, and so on. But once you have selected the ones that you want, then you would click on create a web mix, and when you do so, this is what you get back. So this is a web mix. These are individually called tiles, but I notice I have an error up here. As a matter of fact, I've got more than one error, and I want to delete some of these tiles because I don't want duplicates. What I would do is I would click on the tile that in fact I don't want anymore, right click on it, and then I can either delete the tile or rename it or in some other way edit that tile. Well, what if you want a group of tiles? Take a tile, click on it, and drag it into that group, and then what will happen is that it will group up to 4 tiles for you into a group. So in this case, I've got my 4 together, and then I can also change things on here, like the name of the tile. I can call it a Google group in this case, but I can change the color, I can change whatever, and then finally, when I would click on save, it would create a group for me. Individual tiles are easy as well. You just click on the open space. When you do that, Symbaloo will bring up to you the opportunity to create a tile. You create it, or you can search for a tile. When you click on search for a tile, what it does is it brings up a dialog box where what you do is you begin to type in what it is you're looking for. In this case, I typed in brain pop. It gave me the options, and when I clicked on that brain pop image right there, it then loads it into my web mix. You can also delete web mixes, and that simply is by selecting the web mix that you don't want and then clicking on remove, and it'll just say, are you sure that you want to do this? And then when you're sure, you would say yes, delete this web mix. What's another way to create a web mix? Well, another way is to go back to that screen, click on the bar at the top, and then click add a web mix. In this case, I'm going to create an empty web mix. I don't want any pre-selected tiles. So I've named it, and I'm not going to use this button. I'm going to use add, and when I do click on add, it brings up an empty web mix for me, and then I just click on a tile and then go through the process of creating a tile. In this case, I've looked, I know that it's a website, and it's the Iceberg website that I want to load in. So I can either go to that website and copy it and paste it in here, or I can begin to type it in here. It fills out the name of the tile. I choose the color that I want. I choose an icon if I so desire, then click save. And once I've done that, it loads it in. The red tile that you see here is just an example of an RSS feed. And in this case, I said, yes, I do want the text to show. And then when I click save, what it does is it plants it as a part of that web mix. under the Options tab up here, there are other things you can do, like rename things, change the size. Finally, I want to share this. So I want my students to be able to use this Webmix. If I want it to go to my students, I could privately share it with friends. That'll ask for email addresses. And once I have chosen that, click on Share My Webmix. And then down here, I would fill in those particular people that I want to receive this Webmix. And that's it for an overview of Symbaloo. Thanks for listening.